Welcome to Cocktail Hour. Welcome, listeners, to episode 40 of Cocktail Hour.
40, it's almost as old as me.
Almost, right? Mm-hmm. This is Andy.
And I'm Rev.
Yep, and we are welcoming special guest, Ali.
Super special.
I know, super special.
Super special.
Ali Vali.
Hello.
Yay. And even though I'm not having any alcoholic libation until, I get to GCLS, and then I'm going to be like some crazy, hoe lush or some craziness. It's going to be really sad. I know, right? Are you going to make it to GCLS this year, Ollie?
No, but I think I'm going to come next year. This year's been kind of a cluster for us as far as my partner just tripped. Actually, we were getting ready to go have lunch with Radcliffe. Mm-hmm. In New Orleans. She was in New Orleans for the Tennessee Williams Festival. Mm-hmm. So it poured here for like 4 days. So she goes to the grocery, and I don't know if you know what a volatile is. It's like a platform flip-flop, which is a great idea to use when it's pouring outside. So she falls. She trips, she sprained her ankle, she twisted something in her hip and in her lower back. Ooh. So she is currently, for the next 6 to 8 weeks, she's going to be in physical therapy.
Oh,
ouch.
Poor thing.
So,
dang.
After I finished laughing at her.
That's not right. Come on,
you helped her up and all that. That's nice. Gosh, that sounds like something I would do.
Such compassion.
What horrible wives we are.
I propped her up on a pillow, and then I went and had lunch with Rad.
Oh, man. That ain't right. That's awesome. Well, next year will be Portland, so that'll be really nice.
Yeah, I've never been up there, so I'm definitely, yeah. No, I really miss it, but, it's, I wasn't laughing because I wasn't going, but I remember when it was in Atlanta, it was great because it was, it's a direct flight where the hotel was right on that MARTA stop. Then they moved it to, I believe it was the Sun, because, was it in Arizona, like in August?
I didn't go till they started Orlando.
Yeah, so that's, to me, basically that's the Sun. Because people say, no, you live in the South, but this is a dry heat. It's like, no.
It is. I lived in Tucson for a few years. I went from Okinawa, Japan, subtropical, to Tucson. And believe me, there's a big-ass difference.
I don't know. Maybe I'm used to the humidity.
I know I am. Yeah, I can't.
Shoes were melting when I went to Tucson. I didn't go for GCLS, but I went for something else. Man, it was like really hot. So I'm going to wait till they move it somewhere else. Then it was in Orlando, but we actually went to Orlando earlier this year for Mardi Gras. We were like one of the 3 million other people from New Orleans that went to Disney World.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that picture. I mean, come on. You go Mardi Gras, you go from New Orleans to Orlando. What the hell? Come on now. That ain't right.
No, I'm telling you, I think there was no one from Louisiana at Mardi Gras this year because they were all in line at, like, what do you call it, soaring at Epcot. Jesus Christ, it's blinds. But, no, so we're going to, no, I did hear that it was going to be in Portland next year. I was just in Texas, in Austin, for, they had a book festival there. And they told me, I don't know, next year's going to be in Portland. I said, well, then I'm going to go next year. So I have my word, I'll be there next year.
Speaking of Texas, Adrian said to say hello, and please tell us about why cemeteries have fences.
Well, the reason, I don't know around in the rest of the country, but in Louisiana, especially in South Louisiana, cemeteries have fences because it's not to keep people out. It's to keep people in.
You wrote about you gave a really nice explanation of that and balance of forces.
Yeah, no, they definitely, for a long time, because when the city was first settled, the Spanish and the French, if you've ever been overseas, you look at all their cemeteries, and not too many of them have like these little houses that, these little crypt things that we have. So they would bury them underground. So the first rain would come and it, pop, 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 pop. Here comes Dad.
Oh, man.
Floating down the street. So they started putting fences around him, and then after that, They do sometimes bury underground now, but they put. I was just telling somebody this in Austin. They put these big, gigantic cement slabs on top of them, and then sometimes when you have people in the who are working in the cemetery, they end up hearing the scraping sound. It just totally freaks them out.
Oh, God, it would freak me out.
Wow.
We went and visited. My brother and I went to Paris back in '07, and we visited one of their cemeteries. And it was not only cool, but it was spooky. And they had all these. There's a lot of like those little memorials. What are they called? I'm trying to think of the damn. The word is escaping me.
Mausoleums.
Mausoleums. There was a lot of little miniature mausoleum. Thank you. And it was awesome. Awesome. But yeah, if everything's fenced in.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's to keep people in.
Yeah.
I mean, now actually in New Orleans, because probably about 10 years ago, if you ever come to New Orleans, definitely make a trip into the cemeteries. Mm-hmm. Go on a tour, because you don't want to get killed by, like, the live assholes in New Orleans with guns.
The seedy
try to, But, no, they have a lot of tours that you could take. But some of the statuary that they put on these things, and some of them are really, really old. Like I was showing, actually, when I went and had lunch with Rad, we went to Commander's Palace. And right across the street from Commander's Palace is a very old cemetery in New Orleans. And it's actually, if you read the Devil series, it's where the Caseys are buried. Mm. And some of people started stealing the statuary out of the cemetery, that's like a whole new low for me, I would think.
Yeah, right.
How desperate are you? Mm-hmm. But they were selling it for thousands and thousands of dollars. But the cemeteries here, they're fascinating. Mm-hmm. Actually, I like to walk through them every once in a while, not just to see the beauty of what they are. I mean, considering the amount of money these people put into something that, you're really not going to enjoy. I guess it's for your family that comes to visit you once you're dead.
Yep.
But no, they are just. That's where I get some of my names, actually. And the phone book.
Yeah. Why don't we kick off with the drink and then because I'd like to start talking with you about your books, but we need to get the drink out of the way.
I know. I'm just so fascinated with the stories. Okay, so the drink today is the Madras. And I found a recipe that I shared with Rev. The proportions are 1.5 ounces of vodka, 4 ounces of cranberry juice, 1 ounce of orange juice, and 1 lime.
Yes.
Yep. So you pour all the ingredients except for the lime wedge into a highball glass over ice, and then you add the lime wedge and serve. So, how do you guys like it?
I haven't tasted mine yet.
Oh, okay.
I have to stir it up a little bit, get the orange off the bottom. All right. Smells good. That's good. Yeah, it's mellow. I love cranberry juice. Mm-hmm. Can't taste the vodka at all.
Wow. Uh-oh.
That's after about the fifth one, you will.
Yeah, I was going to say, that could be potentially really dangerous.
I'm much more of a lightweight than that. I don't think it would take more than 2 or 3, probably. Maybe 3. Well, there's only 1.5 ounces of whiskey, of booze in here. Usually when there's like 6 or 7 ounces of booze in there, that's when So maybe 3 or 4. Yeah.
Too funny. Well, it's
all you need is a veranda and a Southern Belle. You're ready to go.
Well, there you go, right? Exactly. Oh, well, we're so happy you agreed to come on our show. We have enjoyed reading your work for a very, very long time. So thank you for writing it.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for reading.
Mm.
I believe your stories were the first Xena-esque fan fiction I ever read.
Oh, thanks.
No, thank you.
Taking the chance.
I think the first story I read of yours was, I think it's Game, Set, and Match.
Yes.
Is that it? Yeah. Which was a little different because the Gabrielle character was older, and but it was enough to hook me in, and a few years later, here we are.
You'll be actually seeing more of those characters come October.
I was going to ask you about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you no, I just like I was saying earlier. I just finished Balance of Forces about a half an hour ago, and I was telling Andy while we were while we were trying to get connected that I enjoyed that book more than I have the last few that I've read of yours, of your newer ones, and I'm. It really does capture the your older fanfic work, and I know that this one did come from that area, and I hadn't. It was one of the few that I didn't read, but your romance books will always be my favorite. I really like the first two Cain Casey books. I enjoyed Calling the Dead. But your romance books are the ones that really do it for me. And I know that there was the vampire and Slayer aspect of Balance of Forces, which was really good. I enjoyed it very much. Mm-hmm. But I think there was so much of the romance overtones to it that it really I really enjoyed this book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, this one, it was fun to write when I first started trying to think of something. And I said, I get really a lot of email still, which is very humbling. It really is. Because, I put that stuff out there a long time ago. I expected a couple people to read it, and then, it would fade into kind of the mercury, I guess. But I still get a lot of emails about it. And I said, well, I went back to it. And that was one of the first ones I read. It was something, that I wrote. It was something that, it was actually for the Academy of Bards challenge for Halloween. And I said, well, I've never really written anything like that, but it was very freeing because you don't really have to follow any rules of reality. Mm-hmm. You can make up whatever you want. So, for me, it was kind of fun.
There was a lot of Xena stuff in there. I thought, like the way that she fights. There were some of the fight scenes, like where she jumps up and kicks two guys in the face at the same time, and that's the other thing I wanted to ask you about. You really do stick very closely to the tall, black or dark haired, more butch, blue-eyed woman, and the petite, tough but gentle, green-eyed blonde. Mm-hmm. You really stick to that dynamic, and I like that.
Yeah, me too. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Do you get shit for that occasionally?
I get shit for all kind of stuff all the time. Actually, no, no one's ever really said anything about that. I think that the one that I did change was in Calling the Dead. Seth actually is, she has white hair, actually. And,
which is why I like her so much, because chicks with white hair rock.
It doesn't have anything to do with you having white hair now, does it?
No, not at all. It's purely coincidental.
Purely coincidental.
And then, you'll see a little bit of a break from that too in the. I actually have two books coming out this year. I have a Love Match coming out in October, and I have a new set of characters that haven't been online and you've never seen them before in any of my books, called The Dragon Tree Legacy, and it's about a sniper. And in that one, you're going to see that there is no blonde in the book.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's who we like the best, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but, so I said, well, maybe I'll switch it up a little bit. So actually, they're both brunettes. So
can one of them have really kick-ass abs?
The sniper is really, I think you'll like her. If you like Cain, but even a little bit more psychotic. You're gonna love Wiley.
That's
really
fantastic. Okay.
That's like the Good Housekeeping seal right there. I'm just more psychotic than Cain. Hello, I'm in there. I'm all over that. Mm-hmm.
I did want to ask about, well, there are two things that I wanted to ask about, and I'm sure that'll morph into like a whole load of other things. Andy, do you want to talk about anything?
No, good. Well, actually, while you're formulating, I did want to say while you're formulating, I wanted to say back to the fanfic. I think the very first Uber Xena fanfic that I read was your Ramses series. Mm-hmm. And I really loved that. I thought that was just awesome. It was so cute.
I'm trying to come up. I haven't had writer's block on the fourth part of that series. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that I have like the first 20 pages of it, and I can't like get over that hump.
Oh.
So actually, what I've done is because those were actually kind of short.
Yeah, they were.
I think the first one, if you look at it in Word, it's only like maybe 30 pages long. So I've actually rewritten the first part, trying to get started on the fourth part. Because I don't think it, a lot of people say, why don't you write, for the internet anymore? It's like, it's not because, no, you got to buy the book. It's not that anymore. Mostly it's time. And then, but the other thing is just, every once in a while you do really get stuck. And you get stuck for a long time. I mean, in this book, like, this Toujours Easy, Balance Forces Toujours Easy came really quick because it was fun to write. I kind of had an idea. I never really plan anything. It just kind of happens. Where it ends up, it ends up.
Yeah.
But with that one, I really like that series. It was the first stuff I put out there. And like I said, it still amazes me that I still get emails about that.
I think it's
so
cool.
I've actually rewritten the first part, so now it's about 100 pages long. So it kind of, then it was like, oh my Lord, this has a lot of errors in it. So I'm trying to fix it, but no, I'd like to bring them back, and I actually wanted to finish the Harry and Desi series.
That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you because those were great characters. I really liked Harry and Desi. Can you hear my dogs barking?
They like Harry and Desi too.
Desi's been pregnant, I think, now for, I don't know, like 5 years.
That's really uncomfortable.
Thought I'd put her eventually out of her misery. But, Tony Whitaker, who does Bowl Strokes, she switches everything so that it's in ebook form. If you like to,
she rocks.
Yeah, she does. I love.
She's very nice. I've had to talk with her a few times over the internet when the ebooks were just starting to come out, and she's incredibly knowledgeable.
Oh, she's great. I just love Tony to death. But every time I see Tony, it's like, where the hell? That's serious. She's been waiting. So I told her, I said, I promised I'd write them, and I said, the next book I'm gonna dedicate. It'll be the only one I'll dedicate, not just to my partner, but to Tony. She's been so persistent in trying to get me to bring that back.
That's awesome.
I did want to say that you gave some pretty nice nods to the Sarah and Ramses series in Balance of Forces without actually saying it. So
we had to change it a little bit, and then it just so happens that some archaeologists in France were lucky enough, or at least nice enough for me, to find there was actually a female pharaoh.
Yeah, that worked out.
I just had to change the name, but that's why I wanted to start it back then. And every once in a while, I like to put characters in just to see if, not to see if people are paying attention, but just to see if they actually read some of the online stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice little treat.
Yeah, because if the obstetrician that I have, like in the Casey series, that's who gave birth to Harry and Desi's baby. If you remember those characters, that
was a long time ago.
Yeah. So every once in a while, I'll pop some money in there just to see if people are like, oh yeah, I remember that.
So will Azra make a cameo in your rewrite of Sarah and Ramses?
I believe she will.
Excellent. So, so you talked about one of the things I wanted to ask you about, which was Harry and Desi. The other thing I wanted to ask you, there's two more things now that I want to ask you about. Mm-hmm. You picked the most interesting and off-the-wall names for your characters of any other author that I've read.
That's true.
Now, we've got two Pipers. We have Piper from Balance of Forces, and then there's also Piper from Waiting in the Wings.
Correct.
Right.
That was a mistake, because every once in a while I do keep sheets because my books have a lot of characters in them, so and I'm basically senile now, so I have to remember. And it's the main characters. I don't know if you've ever gone through the editing process, but once you get to the editing process, if they sound too similar, they make you change them. My only steadfast rule is I refuse to do that for the main characters, because once I pick them, that's it. They're stuck. But yeah, so Piper was kind of I kind of screwed up on my part.
When I started reading it, I was like, Piper.
Yeah.
That sounds like something else. But because I knew I hadn't read this one online. But you've got Jolly, and Poppy.
Yeah.
And
Princess Bebo.
I forgot about that one.
I always read as Bobo. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You want to know where I got Bebo? Usually I'm driving along, Bebo's actually a gas chain in Mississippi.
Is it? No way.
That would make a great character name.
That's just hilarious.
Very nice. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about is the prevalence of series books now. It seems that there are so many series instead of just standalone books.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this as it seems to be getting more and more prevalent as time goes by. Do you think it's more of a rarity now to have a standalone?
For me, it was, I didn't really start out to be a series writer, because I like to, mix it up, and it is kind of hard. I mean, if you've ever even tried, it's very, very difficult to make it seem, because you don't want to put something out there that people are going to say, ooh, she should have stopped at that last book. Really, what are you thinking? And I don't want to do that, so that's why, you have to admire somebody like Rawlings, who, Harry Potter is probably the thing that kids want to read, and she could have put out probably 20 books and they would have read it.
Yeah.
But she said no, it was going to be so many books and that's going to be it. And the Cain series, it's going to be the same thing. It's probably going to be about 7 books that'll get me through where I need to get through. But actually, Cain started out to be, it was kind of like my Nile series, where you start writing and I would get stuck, and then I would go back and I would start something else, and then I'd go back to it and I'd read it, and I always sound like some kind of egotistical bitch when I say this, but I would read it and I would say, "Oh, that's really good." You can write some more of that. So I would go away from it for a little while, and then I would come back to it, and I would add to it and add to it, and then I got to, like, okay, we need to finish it. And I think we were on vacation in Florida. And so I really dedicated myself. I said, we're going to be here for a week. I'm going to go ahead and finish it. And I did. I finished it, and I really liked it. And that's when I contacted Bold Strokes, and I wanted to have Carly Sound published. And so Rad read it, and she actually liked it, and she signed it, but she wanted a lot of... If you read the online story, the book is vastly different. So,
vastly, yeah. By the way, Carly Sound is my favorite of your books. Yeah, no, thank you.
So I wrote
Lady
that.
Sam is also really, really good.
Yeah, so I wrote it, and I said, well, I had to go through all these rewrites. So she said, but in the meantime, do you have anything else? And I said, well, actually, I just finished this 800-page book.
Just finish it.
And she was like, yeah, okay. No, you got to cut that in half. So I did, and, for me, the good thing is that both parts came out one came out at the beginning of the year, the other one came out at the end of the year. So people didn't have to wait too long because I did leave a major cliffhanger. Not, because I wanted to. It was just the book was way too long. And that's why, so that's where the first two devils came from. And I actually was going to stop there because when I wrote this, my partner told me, she said, this is just way too violent.
What?
No one is going to read this.
Oh, that's not right.
And I said, I wrote it because I just didn't think there was a Cain character out there. The Godfather is my all-time favorite movie, and I thought, I just haven't read anybody that resembles Michael Corleone.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I didn't really base it on The Godfather, but there was no character like that out there. No. So I wrote it for me, basically.
Nice.
And then Cain kind of took on a life of her own, and people just really, again, very humbling, but people really fell in love with Cain, and they wanted more and more Cain. And so that's how, we got into the fourth book. I'm finishing up the Dragon Tree Legacy right now, and then we'll move on to the fifth book of that series. The fourth book probably was not as strong as the other three, and it's not an excuse, but when I was in the middle, you do have deadlines when you start to write, and my mother was dying of pancreatic cancer at the time, so my mind was elsewhere.
Wow.
So I probably could have done a better job on that, but it's every once in a while when you do have series, or when you do write a series, every once in a while you have to have a book, and it's probably not going to be as strong as the other one, but if you don't want to end up with an 800-page book, it has to be like a bridge book.
Yeah.
It has to get you from like here to the next part, but you can't, be real descriptive and get into too many storylines, because then you leave too many cliffhangers, and then you get a lot of nasty emails.
Yeah, right.
You do that.
Lots.
Yeah, I wanted to send you one actually.
Oh, come on now.
No, we've talked about this before. I mean, we talked about it, the first time. And we're having an honest conversation. It's a conversation. Okay. So. Now, and when you talked about there is nobody else like Cain in Lesbic, you're absolutely right, and that's how I talk to people about the Cain series when I'm trying to tell people, which I always do, you need to pick this up, you need to pick that up, because Cain is unique, and she is, even she's very different from Michael Corleone in a lot of ways, but she still has that same devotion to family and
violence,
and she has a hard time sometimes justifying the things that she has to do with her soul, but my wife, who doesn't read the first Devil book and loved it, and she loved it specifically because of the violent gangster stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I read the first one and the second one, loved them, got kind of pissed off at the cliffhanger on the second one, read the third one, and became enraged by the massive cliffhanger. I have the fourth one. I've had it since shortly after it came out, and I still haven't read it yet because I'm still mad at you, Ali, for the vicious, cliffhangers.
It does get you through the third book, basically.
Okay. All right.
But no, people, they weren't really pissed at me for the cliffhanger so much in the first couple books. The thing that they were really pissed about in this book was that I did not kill Juan.
Oh.
That was, not to give it away, but
well, I guess I don't have to read it now.
She makes it through the fourth book, but and that's. And really, in reality, you kind of have to. I'm always thinking about like how to move forward. In this next book, it's kind of a culmination of what started really when I introduced the Juan character. I think that was in book 3. His uncle Rodolfo and Juan, and his interest in Emma Cain. So this next one, I wouldn't dare write the next one and not do something drastic to this guy. So, and that's why I said every once in a while, my emails I'm probably on some FBI watch list somewhere. I have an idea how to kill this guy.
Oh, God.
real like descriptive. It's like, wow, I thought I had a dark side. But yeah, so thinking that way, and since I had a lot of character hopping from book to book, because you first met Seth from
yes
series. You didn't meet her in Calling the Dead.
Yeah, that was a treat too. I love seeing characters that come in from other places when you don't. And she had just a little tiny part, meeting Cain on the stairs.
Right. Well, she comes back. She's got a little bit bigger part in book 4. She's in book 4, and then she got her own book. And then, in reality, thinking that was going to be, once the Cain furor kind of died away, that was going to be the next series. People just really thought that Calling the Dead at first. Now, for some reason, it's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence. When it first came out, people thought it was really, really violent.
Again, and that's what I liked about it the best. I thought the romance was actually weak in that one, and it didn't seem as engaging on the romance side. But you do have a twisted mind. Some of the graphic descriptions of the serial killer were fantastic, and that's what kept me totally engrossed in that book.
Yeah, well,
and you stumped me. I was really that was a good surprise too, because I thought it was somebody else almost the whole way through, and that rarely happens.
Well, that's what my beta readers did. That they were like, "Oh, by page 30, they already knew who it was."
Oh, and then you switched it.
Yeah, and I said, "Well, okay." No, I didn't switch it. I said, "Okay." I said, well, let's keep going, and then if, at the end you think, oh, man, if you already figure out by page 30, then we're going to have to go ahead and switch that. And they were, so the whole way they were like, oh, it's this guy. And then they got to the end, like, I never saw it coming.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got me on that one. No, good job.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, in that case, I put a description, it's not like I said, oh, this is some romance in New Orleans set after Katrina. No, I put it was about a serial killer, and so what were you expecting? It was going to be a little violent. So but sometimes it's what people like or they don't like, and they didn't. But I remember I went to Palm Springs for the first time, not this past year, but the year before that, and they had a kind of a question and answer session, and I think everybody, more than Cain, asked me when the next Calling the Dead was going to come out. And that was a real big surprise to me, because I just didn't really think people really liked it that much. I mean, there were some people that said, oh, wow, this is really great. It was a good description of New Orleans right after Katrina. And that one in second season were my gap books to get over the New Orleans I've always written about to the New Orleans we have now, which is a little different. I mean, it's coming back. I think most of the main things are coming back. But Greg Herron and Gene Redman and I had a discussion one day, and I said it's different now, because before you just took it for granted. You could put, in all my books, the characters might not be real. Well, some of them might be a little real. I've changed the names, but the places are all real. You could get in your car and drive to Commander's, or you could go to Dickie Brennan's or whatever, and you could order all the food that the characters are ordering. So, all that stuff is real.
Yeah, that's something that I've always enjoyed in your books and in Gene Redman's books, are the incredible detail of the local food and establishments.
Yeah,
and actually, I thought that that balance of forces, it seemed, outside of Café du Monde, which seems to come up in every one of your books, you actually touched on more specific locations than I think I'd seen before.
Well, and then so when you go now, that was before. Now when you're writing and you say, oh, they're going to go have dinner here, you actually have to go and make sure that establishment still exists. That it's, now you can't take it for granted that it's there.
Wow.
But, when we did that, so in the Cain series, it's kind of the same thing. So I'm always thinking, so I thought, well, I have to think ahead, if I want to continue to do this and to have new books, I got to start introducing some new characters. So I introduced Set in the Devil series, which then she had her own book. So for this next Devil book, really won't have anything to do with the Dragon Tree Legacy. But if I want to write a 6th book, you can't kill off everybody because then the series ends.
Well, true, yeah.
So
yeah.
if I'm going to kill off a massive amount of people, which I'm planning to do in this next book,
Damn.
I need to be able to have something to fall back on. So you're going to see some characters, not so much Cain or Remy or anything like that, but you're going to see some characters that you first met in the Devil series. You're going to see in the Dragon Tree Legacy. They'll have their own. And that one, I was planning as a standalone. I mean, I planned it as a standalone, and then the beta readers, every once in a while they're like, okay.
Damn.
And then every once in a while they get really excited about a character, and they really got, to my happy thing is that they got excited about this next book. So you might see Wiley again. I'll give you a hint. The first chapter, I read it in P-Town a couple of years ago, actually, because I was working on it then. And she's a sniper, but she's retired, recently retired, back to New Orleans. This is right after Katrina, and she moves into the warehouse district of New Orleans, and she picks up a hobby. She actually has 2 hobbies. One, she's a painter, and she's really good, enough to be able to get commissions and get a big price tag. And but she also is The Godfather was my favorite movie, but my favorite TV show on television is Dexter.
Oh, I love Dexter.
Yeah, I love Dexter. And so she starts to get she starts to take little odd jobs, I should say.
Odd jobs.
And
sniper odd jobs.
Well, it's not always, it's not always through the crosshair. So she finds a serial rapist in the very first chapter of the book that she's been watching for a while. And then so she lets him break into this girl's house, and he thinks he's getting ready to as I put in the book, she said, you might have had fucking on your mind today, but fucked up is what you're going to get.
I like that.
When he comes to, he's hog-tied and zip-tied in the trunk of her car, and she takes him out to City Park, ties him to a tree, and then she removes something that is very vital for him to be a serial rapist, and then drops him into a wood chipper.
Oh, there's no resewing back on that one.
So that's Wiley Grimion, and then I think when she did have a very love of her life, and for reasons that you'll find in the book, they're no longer together. But when they do they see each other for the first time, it's a pretty dramatic re-meet, I should say. So I think this is back a little bit. It's a little bit grittier. They'll have some romance, but the romance is going to build slow throughout the book. So if you run like True Romance and Love Match coming out in October, is the one for you.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to read it. Damn it.
That's coming out in December.
Oh, man. I gotta wait till December?
Christmas gift to you.
Oh, my God.
But, and then in the meantime, I am going to start on the sequel to the Balance of Forces book, which I haven't come up with a title yet, but that one will probably, if I do turn that one into a series of maybe 2 or 3, 4 books, it'll be the Balance series. They're always the word balance will always appear in the title.
Huh, interesting.
So, and maybe a little French. Who knows?
Oh, I love French.
No, Andy likes French.
I love French. It makes my nipples hard every time I hear it. And we've talked about that on the show too.
Just once or 100 times, but
yeah,
it's
exactly.
okay.
Yeah,
It's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, since I completely dominated most everything here, as I normally do.
I actually count on that generally.
Huh?
I said I actually count on that generally. I just like to springboard off of something that you did.
That's I'm always very careful to stop and make sure that you get to say stuff.
Well,
Go ahead, Andy. What you got?
Well, no, I wanted to talk about the Devil series, which we did at length, yay, and I wanted to bring the Sarah and Ramses thing up, which I did, yay. So I mean, those were, I mean, of all of the things that I've read, those I enjoyed the most.
All right. So somebody on the C-Spot forum begged for us to ask Ali if she would do a book giveaway.
Dang, begged.
I'm telling you.
To do that. No, I'm telling you.
Excellent.
I love giving books away.
And everybody loves free books, especially signed free books by somebody as good as you. So Ali came up with a question, and then together we found the answer. And this giveaway will be for a copy of Balance of Forces. I'll be honest, it was going to be for 3 copies. We're going to have 3 winners, but Andy and I decided that that we're going to take the other 2 copies because this is a thankless job we do for you people. And
that's the truth.
And it's not often, outside of getting drunk once in a while, and talking to some great authors. We got nothing on our shelves to point to say, hey, look at us. We're awesome.
That's too damn funny.
I'm almost done with my drink, and maybe I didn't have enough lunch today.
I'm thinking, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's go with the question.
All right, so the question is, what was the name Azra used during her lifetime in Venice? So, and I'll post the question on the show notes. So if you didn't write it down, don't worry. Just go look on the show notes. Send your answers. Don't post them on the website because we will delete them immediately. Okay. Send your answers via email to cocktailhour.show@gmail.com. And we'll make sure that we have the address on the show notes also. Mm-hmm. And, let's see. So we'll give that. Now, Andy, you've got another super huge guest on the next show that you'll be doing with Liz, right?
Yep. I got a superhero guest in the form of Radcliffe.
Excellent.
2 weeks. Rad's coming on, people. Woo!
Okay, so, that will be that'll be the 21st. So you need to have your answers emailed to us no later than midnight, Friday the 20th of April.
Yeah, that works.
All right, that way, I'll pick the winner. Make sure Andy has the info, and maybe Rad will read the winner's name off.
Oh, now that'd be awesome.
Excellent. So okay, listeners, make sure you get that in. And I don't know. Is that it? Are we done?
Unless Ollie's got something else you want to plug, talk about.
No, I hope y'all enjoyed the book, and like I said, I have another one in October and another one in December. So y'all just drop me an email and tell me what you think.
Heck yeah.
Well, and maybe you'll come back.
That's right.
I'll be happy to.
You can do that too. What do you?
Now that I've figured out all this technology, I'm gonna come back every week.
Oh, Lordy. What email should our listeners use to give you a little kudos?
They could email me at TERRI20@yahoo.com.
Nice. All right, yeah. Sweet. We've got it all now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we'll put that in the show notes too. Gosh, you rock.
Yeah, no kidding. I was like,
thank you guys for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah, we enjoyed it too.
We didn't play Who Would You Fuck?
Oh, we didn't. Oh my God! Thank God you remembered. And I'm not even drinking. Holy crap! Okay.
Hey, I just, like I said, I just finished Balance of Forces, and the last scene is, well, really good. So I'm already primed for who I would fuck.
Okay, well then why don't you tell us who you would fuck then?
I would fuck Piper Marmond or Marmond. How do you pronounce that? Because I'm terrible with pronunciation.
Yeah. It's Marmont.
Yeah, well, it would be her because she's feisty as hell, and even though you didn't say it, I bet she's got a really awesome body.
She does.
Ah. Huh.
So there you go. That's my pick, and I'm sticking with it.
Nice.
That would be my pick too.
Well, that's your pick too? Damn, you guys are easy.
Well, yeah.
Damn, I thought I was the only easy one on this show. I would actually pick Cain, which is a little departure from my normal
I am
pick.
shocked.
I know. Yeah, I love that character. I do. Woo!
This is, I think, wow.
I know, it's big. Because, see, Ollie, the reason why it's big is because I usually pick the Gabrielle-esque character.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, it's Cain for me all the way.
This is like perception changer for me, Andy. I don't know if I can look at it the same way anymore.
I'm expanding my horizons, what can I say? I love that gangster bad girl thing with Cain. I do.
Wow.
I know.
I'll email you her phone number.
Hey, thanks, yeah. I'll get right on that,
Even
too.
if I shoot you in the yard. But...
Oh, no, shoot in the yard.
Well, there was something else I wanted to just very briefly bring up. Our buddy Megan, who helped us with the last show, has made many comments about New Orleans being the must be the most lesbian heavy city in the world.
It might be.
You just have to know where to hang out.
I guess so. I guess we got to hang out wherever the Cain family hangs out, because good Lord, I've never seen that many lesbians in one place except in a club.
Well, maybe GCLS. There's a lot there.
Oh, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
this will be my first one
I
coming
know.
up. So.
Very excited.
If y'all got any stroke, y'all need to bring that back to New Orleans. It's the most funner city in the world.
I'd love to go. I'd love to be. So can we stay at your house?
Your first one was in New Orleans.
Can we stay at your house, Allie?
Sure.
All right. Well, Allie, thank you so much. It really was an honor to get a chance to talk with you after enjoying your stuff for so many years. So thank you so much.
Like I said, I appreciate it, and you guys have a great day.